I do want to talk about Shohei Ohtani because he was at the White House and President Trump, called the guy a movie star. Take a listen.
Unanimous National League MVP, Shohei Ohtani.
Ohtani.
Boy, come on.
Come here.
Come here, let me give you a noogie.
He slapped him on the ass.
Looks like a movie star. He's got a good future, I'm telling you. He shattered all of those records last year. Think of it, all of them. And he did something even more because he became the first ever member of the 50-50 club.
Oh, look at that. So the president giving props to Ohtani.
He's a movie star.
Ohtani.
Yeah, politics aside, that's
Like
so cool,
Jackie
man.
Chan.
Throw your
Movie
politics
star.
out the window just for a minute
Ohtani.
and just appreciate that he's recognizing the greatness that we speak of on the daily. Ohtani. I thought that was cool. I thought it was a cool moment. And he does look like a movie star.
And, it sort of all ties together. I promise you, we have too much to get into a long-winded conversation about movie stars. Ohtani.
Look at him.
Ohtani. But
Shohei Ohtani.
looks like a movie star. Today is the anniversary of two classic baseball movies that are near and dear to us. And if Ohtani can be a movie star, then we got to shout out the cast of Major League came out on this day in 1989.
So that's what, 36 years ago? Or for how long
Yeah,
ago?
36 years ago.
36.
And in 1993, The Sandlot debuted. So two of the best baseball movies ever came out on this day. And real quick, do you have a favorite movie star baseball player? Is there someone that you think, wow, they were convincing as a ball player? And you can't say Charlie Sheen because I think that's the obvious answer.
Well, I like that we're celebrating both of these movies today, and we posed that question again at 877-99 on Fox. If you want to chime in, 877-99 on Fox, because they're two baseball movies, but two very different movies.
Yeah, for real.
There's nothing. The only commonality here is the fact that baseball's the backdrop, but two very different movies. One stars Benny the Jet Rodriguez. He should be in the conversation. And you already said Rick Vaughn. But the coolest fictional baseball player? It's a great question. We open it up to you. Ohtani looks like a movie star. But when it comes to actual movie stars, who is the best character? I hate to agree with Mike, but again, he's in the conversation.
Who?
Mike, who runs this place? In our pre-show meeting.
Never heard of him.
Mike. He looks like Rick from Pawn Stars. Mike.
Never heard of him.
He said Roy Hobbs, the Wonder Boy with the Wonder Bat.
Yeah, I talked about that music last week.
You did. The natural has to be in the conversation, Roy Hobbs, because you almost believe that he was a real guy. Like, you bought into that story, right? Like, the lightning hit the tree, he made a bat out of it. Like, you believe the story of Roy Hobbs almost. At least I did. It's like my brother who thought Forrest Gump was a true story. The Natural, in my mind, was like a real movie, like a real story, real person. So, again, who is the coolest fictional baseball player of all time? We open it up to you. Do you have an immediate answer?
I think
I got mine, but no one's going to agree, so I'm holding off.
I think the obvious answer from Major League would be the Wild Thing, because he had the mechanics, and as the stories go, that everyone said a million
times. Is he even the coolest guy in that movie? You could say Pedro Serrano was the coolest guy in that movie.
Are you in good hands? Yeah. People don't realize it's the same guy.
People don't know that's Dennis Haysbert. Hey, Dennis
Haysbert.
There it is. Is there an H in there somewhere?
Yeah, the first letter.
Is there a TH in there somewhere?
I think there's another like TH, like bird. No? But we had him on our show, and he was like, Are you in good hands? You're like, dude, I can't believe that Are You in Good Hands, president from 24, is the same Pedro Serrano that we were convinced was some Dominican guy who was talking about Joe Boo all the time.
That's a great answer. I think Wild Thing Rick Vaughn's a great answer. I think Roger Dorn is the cocky, which we're going to talk about later, cocky versus confidence. Infielder, the veteran. But I think he was such a focal point of the movie. I think the aging catcher, played by Tom Berenger, Jake Taylor, Didn't he remind you of like almost like a washed up Gary Carter type? Where they weren't,
Like
but
a
Carter
Carlton
was like
Fisk.
a clean.
I
Carter
looked at
was
him like
clean
a Carlton
cut.
Fisk kind of.
Yeah, Carter was too clean cut and like a nice guy. It seemed like Jake Taylor was like washed up catcher playboy, and I thought that was a great character.
You could say just maybe on form someone throws you off. Like, yeah, I didn't like how they threw. It wasn't convincing. Like, how do you feel about Ray Liotta in Field of Dreams? Like, is there someone that sticks out? But that's not fictional. So maybe he doesn't count because Joe Jackson was a real dude.
Yeah. How about, he was super realistic in his role. Bernie Mac, Mr. 3000.
Dude, you know I've never seen that movie. I've never seen it.
But
I'm not being serious.
I don't think he had the smooth swing of a Tony Gwynn or Wade Boggs or anything, or Griffey. Didn't. I mean, I'm picturing Bernie Mac. I don't remember being that impressed. But you know what? I always felt like Dennis Quaid on the mound was convincing. When he always played, I feel like
Quaid was also based on a real guy, that dude that played for Tampa.
Yeah, but I'm saying who was convincing. It doesn't. I'm saying like
you said fictional character.
Okay.
You know who had a good swing? Mr. Baseball.
Tom Selleck. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a good ball player. What do you got, Dan Byer?
I do think in Major League, especially in our era when you would have old crafty pitchers, that the role of Ed Harris or Eddie Harris.
Oh, he played like a Phil Necro type?
Yes, exactly. Like a guy who just gets by with all of his junk.
You know who it reminded me of?
Barbasol,
Little
Vagisil.
like a Charlie Huff.
Yes, exactly. Like there were actual players that I could think of
Charlie
that relate
Huff,
to him.
I thought he was like 82 still pitching for the Rangers, so that's who that reminds
That's
me
a good
of.
one, Dan Byer.
That is a good one. Very convincing, very great answer. But you mentioned Dennis Quaid. He played Jim Morris, which was based on a true story, who was a gym teacher turned Devil Rays pitcher. So I don't know if that technically counts, but you got to give Dennis Quaid the nod because he's at least a convincing ball player.
All right. Our buddy Sean hit us up.
Young Jay Hernandez was in that movie, too.
Our buddy Sean out here in L.A. listening on the iHeart app. What's up, buddy? He said Kevin Costner might be the most convincing ball player. Kurt Russell, not too shabby either. I'll tell you one that was not convincing to me, and I love the guy. He's always been very kind to Covino Rich. I mentioned the movie, but probably too cool for a guy like Steve Covino, Captain Cool over here.
Yeah, that's what they call me.
Angels in the Outfield, they had Tony Danza. Someone in continuity must have been like, do an exaggerated follow-through when you pitch. He did this deal. Remember this whole
oh, yeah. My guys.
The follow-through was absurd.
Yeah, it was an absurd follow-through. You're right. So my answer, I've waited for one better, but I haven't heard one yet. So I was thinking, is it Carmen Ronzoni from the Bad News Bears? Remember Carmen Ronzoni? He had that cool leather jacket.
Carmen Ronzoni.
Or is it Kelly Leak? And it has to be Kelly Leak of the Bad News Bears. And here's why I say that. Because as a little kid, and I'm watching the original Bad News Bears movies, right? Kelly Leak was supposed to be a Little League player, and he's rolling around on a moped, driving that moped to the game, smoking cigarettes. He looked like a burnout who was at least 33 years old playing on a Little League team. So Kelly Leak, for me, was always the quintessential late 70s, early 80s badass fictional baseball player. I'm sticking with my answer. It's not Carmen Ronzoni. It's Kelly Leak of the Bad News Bears.
I'm not going to give that my number one spot, but I'm trying to think of
Played
other...
by Jackie Earl Haley, by the way.
I mean, people have been pointing out on social media right now that...
It's an old guy answer, Rich, but it's a good one.
Mr. Baseball, played by Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck played baseball at USC, apparently. So...
Hey, speaking of actors, and Shohei could be a Hollywood star with his face and physique, isn't it odd to you that Billy Crystal actually took an at-bat for the New York Yankees? And so did Tom Selleck.
That is cool.
Tom Selleck did in Detroit, I believe. Like in a spring training game. Look that up. Mr. Baseball, Tom Selleck himself went yard, right?
Yeah.
He went yard in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just picturing
I don't know if
it.
he went yard, but I know he made contact.
Dude, I'm pretty sure he hit one out. I'm going to look it up. But Billy Crystal also had the honor because he's so affiliated with being a Yankees fan, and he did the 61 movie and everything.
I remember, of course.
He took an at-bat with the Yankees. Like, what an honor that is. Even if it's just like a gimmicky, goofy thing, I think that's awesome.
I remember loving the movie 42 and the late Chadwick Boseman. He was good as Jackie Robinson, but I don't know if on the field the mechanics were 100% there. And another guy we really enjoy, Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Yeah.
Not I used to like that show Pitch.
Yeah.
But he even admitted like his mechanics. He's not a ball player.
I'm telling him you said
tell
that.
him I said that.
All right. In 1986, while working out with the Detroit Tigers, Tom Selleck, known for his role in Magnum P.I., hit a batting practice home run at Tiger Stadium. That's pretty sweet.
But he appeared in a game, right? There was an actual game. I remember him seeing him suit up.
Yeah.
I know the practice one. I don't know.
There should be
Wow.
video that I've recently seen on TikTok.
Spring
within the last
training. Definitely
6
spring
months.
training. There was an old timers game. I'm seeing some footage here, but based on all this stuff and the Shohei, I think honor and compliment from the president. Because you could imagine, like in person, dude, not only like tall, but he's a good looking dude.
And honestly,
Right?
Ohtani,
Looks like a movie star.
The guy's not only a superstar, maybe one of the best ever. He could be a movie star. Listen to the president. I mean,
Shohei Ohtani.
Ohtani.
He's a 6'4" stud. Hey, we found out that he's a
Looks like a movie star.
He's a model. I mean,
he's also a commercial star because there's a story to go along with his commercials in Japan.
if you've noticed that the Dodgers have a cool new celebration, and you might be wondering, if you haven't seen this on social media yet, the Dodgers, the whole hip flexor thing has sort of taken a backseat to it looks like some type of 70s disco move, almost like a Zoolander where you're putting 2 fingers in front of your eyes. Like, whoa. Like a Pulp Fiction type of move. That is mocking, in a fun way, Ohtani. When they were in Japan, they saw that he did a skincare ad.
For Decort liposome.
And he pulls the product in front of his eyes, like,
He pulls it across his eyes, and that is now the rally cry in celebration of the Dodgers, as if they needed more chemistry to bring them closer.
Just to put a bow on the Selleck stuff. April 3rd, 1991, Selleck appears in a spring training game for the Tigers against the Reds.
oh, wow.
At one point, hits a foul ball that Chris Sabo tries to track down, but it lands in like the photographer well or whatever, but bounces outside back onto the field of play. Glenn Braggs then picks up the baseball, and everybody wants that foul ball. Who wouldn't want a foul ball hit by Tom Selleck?
That's awesome.
That's
Ends up striking out in the at-bat in the bottom of the 8th inning, but he did appear in a spring training game.
How about, thank you, DB. I have seen some of the highlights. What about, I'm just throwing this out there, but do you remember Brendan Fraser in The Scout, 1994?
Yeah.
And did you mention your favorite Mr. Destiny, Rich? I know you're a big fan of that.
Jim Belushi, great movie.
I love that movie as a kid, Mr. Destiny.
Can
I
I
know
tell
Rich
you,
was a big fan
I was
of that
saying there's
one.
like
That's
5
1990, by
There's
the
only
way.
like 5 people I know that love Mr. Destiny. I thought that was such a good movie.
I rented that movie as a kid a lot.
That's
I don't know
the
why.
ticket. Plus, John Lovett's in that movie.
It's a
So
good one.
when you think of,
It's his friend Clip.
here's why I want you to think of these fictional characters too, because a lot of times when I think about some of the weak-ass movies we watched growing up, Rich, and we loved them, a lot of times they didn't have the rights to the actual teams in uniform, so it was like generic Yankee guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking
Like
about
your friend's weak Halloween costume.
Yeah, like it was just the generic pinstripes with the blue hat. They couldn't even represent the Yankees in the proper way. So there was always that guy that stood out to you. He was like the big bad guy on the opposing team. So who comes to mind? We'll wrap it up with your phone calls right now at 877-99 on Fox.
Josh in Ohio, we'll start with you.
Hey,
as
Josh.
as Ohtani looks like a movie star. Ohtani. Who's your favorite actor playing a baseball player?
So it's my favorite because he plays the perfect Chicago Cub washed-up pitcher, Chet the Rocket Steadman, played by Gary Busey, and Rookie of the Year.
Gary Busey. Buttered sausage.
By the way, you know that's a fake clip, that buttered sausage clip? I thought that was real.
One of
because
you two ruined that for me.
I know.
was
We've
either you or
interviewed him.
Spot. Yeah,
We've
you're like-
interviewed him, and he is a wackadoodle. I mean, everybody knows that he's a wacky dude.
Talk
but
about buttered sausage.
that clip that's gone viral is not a real clip. I
So
thought
wait,
it was.
he's acting or it's
No, it's
CGI or
it's someone with like a deep fake, like a filter.
really?
Yeah,
Oh my!
it's a comedian. No, a comedian that was on SNL.
But I
for,
thought
like,
it
a
was
season.
real. Yeah, I thought it was real.
when if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a famous clip from maybe a year ago or so where it's Gary Busey and he's like, "Let's talk about buttered sausage."
He's on some podcast or something, and then he just completely
not
changes
a
the
real
topic.
clip,
Wow.
proving over and over again that you can't believe anything on the internet. Who else do we got?
Bo in South Dakota. What's up, Bo?
Hey, Bo.
Hey, boys. So I got to say, Kenny Powers, Danny McBride.
Dude, I retract my answer. Kelly Leak could take a hike. Kenny Powers has to be the winner. And you know what? Rich and I, not to brag, Fox Sports Radio Nation, but we've interviewed Danny McBride a few times, and you better believe that we both had him autograph a baseball that says Kenny Powers.
No, I gave it to my brother for Christmas.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You gave that away?
I gave that to my brother.
Man, I'm gonna hang that up in my man cave one day.
I will say this. The best, I mean, it's a different conversation, but I think maybe the best sidekick, funny guy in TV in the last decade might be Stevie from that show.
Oh, we love Stevie from
Fiction.
That chemistry between Stevie and Kenny Powers, it's unmatched. And I think that is the number one answer because I absolutely loved it. I'm still waiting to maybe rewatch that show.
Some people say you're my Stevie.
Oh, you think so?
I don't know.
Fiction?
Let's go to Montana. Dave.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
What's up, buddy?
Doing? Got a couple here. You mentioned Kurt Russell for starters. He actually was a professional ball player. He played for the Portland Mavericks.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s.
His dad owned the team.
If you ever get a chance, his dad and Bing Russell owned the team. If you ever get a chance to see, and I hope I can say this, The Battered Bastards of Baseball.
I love it.
Excellent documentary. You have not mentioned Chris Pratt, Seattle boy, Moneyball.
Oh, dude, that's a really good one. By the way, two great answers. He's absolutely right about that documentary. So when you're done watching the White Lotus finale, The Battered Bastards of whatever it's called, fantastic movie. It's actually a documentary about Kurt Russell and his dad and that baseball team and how he played. And, again, just a great one.
You know what? We'll take the rest of your answers next. We'll wrap this up. We got other things to move on to, but Ohtani in the news today because the president giving him some props saying he looked like a movie star. And
Shohei Ohtani.
It also happens to be the anniversary of Major League and, of course, the Sandlot. So, hey, big baseball day.